What's that?
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Where our music at?
He said he was just bringing us in. No music.
Oh, man, I'm used to music. Don't be spoiling me.
Charlie don't have his banjo with him.
Baron, like the here you go. Good evening, family, and welcome back to the Roundtable Talk Show. I'm your host, Christopher. Christopher Unk Jones, and we are on the Knowledge is Power podcast live. Oh man, I'm telling y'all tonight, before we even touch anything else, let me uh let this out at this moment. Um Episode 60. Ah! Yes, indeed. Episode 60. 60 episodes. That means 60 times this table has opened up and said, we're not just gonna be running reading the headlines and running out by the mouth. We are actually reading systems. 60 times we have refused to let public conversations stay lazy. 60, 60. Hear me and hear me well when I say 60 times we have challenged politics, power, faith, race.
Okay.
Okay, so
You said
that's
you
the
want us to
music.
music, huh?
I appreciate that. Can you
Yeah,
turn it
yeah,
down a
you asked for
smidge?
the music.
He scared the mess out of all of us. All our eyes got big. Clear Dustin over there dead. Appreciate that musical intro.
Tell you, I called for the banjo. He brought the band.
Man, man. Like I was saying, for our music came late. 60 times we have challenged politics, power, faith, race, money, history, justice, community, law, and all the quiet games being played in plain sight. So to I just want you to know, to every viewer, listener, every person who has watched live, caught the replay, shared the link, commented, prayed for us, challenged us. Even corrected us or told somebody, hey, you need to go watch the roundtable talk. You go hear what they talk about over there. I definitely want to thank you. You've helped us get here, and I don't know if we would have been able to get to 60 as a milestone without you. And of course, to my crew, Dr. Campbell, Big Bro Perry, Little Bro Dustin, I appreciate you all. And plus those guest co-hosts we've had in the past. Because this table works because, I mean, we don't come here empty at all. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely thank y'all for bringing thought, challenge, even disagreement, receipts, lived experiences, and courage to sit in hard conversations without running from the heat at this table. So, yes, we're going to honor episode 60, but don't get it twisted because we not going to flake out just because we made 60.
Never.
Tonight's title is Borrow the Band, Bury the School. Now let's talk plainly because America loves the HBCU's aesthetics. And for anybody new to the conversation, HBCU simply means historically black college or university. These are schools that were built because black people were denied equal access to higher education, um, and had to create institutions of learning in a country that treated knowledge like it was white property or white privilege. So America loves the band, it loves the drum line, it loves the homecoming clips, the divine nine stepping in formation. Somebody please mute up. It loves the yard. It loves the famous alumni that we bring any and everywhere. It loves black excellent photo ops. It loves the HBCU hoodie when it becomes fashionable. I mean, it even loves the sound, the system, the culture, the rhythm, the pride, the pageantry, and the moment, right? But here's where I want us to be tonight. And I want all of us to agree tonight when we say, do not hear us and hear us well. Do not borrow the band and bury the school. Do not borrow the culture and starve the institution. Do not use the image and ignore the infrastructure. Again, do not smile with the president, the band, the cheerleaders, the alumni, and the students, then turn around and leave these campuses fighting for buildings, research dollars, accreditation, survival, capital access, scholarship support, and long term stability. And as a proud HBCU attendee myself, and I'm quite sure I know, better yet, I know I got another one, a few others on here that love HBCUs. So let me say this with my whole chest. I love the greatness, the sound, the yard, the spirit, the confidence, the culture. I love the way an HBCU um, can take a student who has been treated like an exception and place them in an environment where Black excellence is not rare, but it is to be expected. Because um, I love HBCUs. I will not lie about the show, the slow kill happening to institutions and current and in the past. And I will not let America keep clapping for our performance while ducking responsibility of our survival. Tonight is not a homecoming ad. I just definitely want you to know I want to thank Ms. Ermelyn Thomas for bringing this to us as a potential topic, as well as Dr. Campbell, who brought it to the table for us to dialogue. And so once things get brought to this table, it gets dissected. So this is a correction. This is a reclaiming. This is a gut punch because Black intellect did not, hear me and hear me well, did not begin when America finally allowed Black people into a classroom. Black innovation did not begin when white institutions finally decided to publish us. Black excellence, I want you to know, did not begin with permission. Our people have been creating, inventing, healing, building, calculating, navigating, forming, engineering, organizing, preserving memory, especially moving culture and shaping societies long before, during, and after being denied access to the very institutions that now act like they discovered intelligence. Make that make sense. And I just definitely want y'all to know that is the bovine excrement I'm calling out tonight. And I hope, but yet I know my crew gonna definitely be there with me. Yeah, I learned bovine excrement from one of my English teachers. Was she English? I think she was English. Her name was Miss Lupa. Miss Lupa was my economics teacher and my English teacher. That's what she was. That's what she was. So yes, at Central Senior High School, again, I'm calling that out. They downplay Black innovation, erase Black intellect, uh, intellectual inheritance. They copy Black culture, borrow Black credibility, then turn around and act like our institutions are optional. No, we are not. And hear me and hear me well when I say we are not doing that tonight, nor are we going to continue because a lot of the world calls what the world calls modern function as functions as Black hands, Black minds, Black rhythm, Black labor, Black math, Black science, Black spirituality, um, Black discipline, Black innovation, Black creativity, and Black survival inside all of it, with and or without proper credit. I just want you to know that Some of the very things you are loving and living your life on was created by the hands of a black man. Let's start with the traffic safety or blood banking, open heart surgery, refrigerated transport, agricultural science, home security technology, space and navigation mathematics, cultural production, political organizing. Y'all learn that from us. I just want you to know, faith-based liberation, mutual aid, community education, music that reshaped the entire globe, language that moves markets, and styles that defines generations. We have touched every major function of modern life while still being told to prove we belong in the classroom.
That we are 3/5 of a human being.
That is diabolical. So tonight we're not just talking about HBCUs at school as schools. We're talking about HBCUs as modern guardians of Black intelligence, inheritance that America keeps trying to use, rename, repackage, underfund, and control. So tonight, we're not just talking about HBCUs. I just want y'all to know that round one, these are y'all shots. This is the chaser for y'all shots. Round one, they stole the ground, then policed the gate. Round two is don't sell us the press release. And round three is starve the school, shrink the people. Family, if you watching, listening, or wherever you at, drop your city in the chat. Drop your HBCU if you attended one. Drop your HBCU that you love. If you had all in your heart that you wanted to go to a HBCU, throw your sets up, like they say. Throw your sets up. Drop your school that raised somebody in your family. If you saw somebody, and if you never went to an HBCU, don't you dare tune out, because these schools have proved leadership, uh, proven and produced leadership internationally, memory, knowledge, and power of the whole people. So let me bring in my crew. Yeah. Dr. Campbell, say good evening to the people.
Good evening, everybody.
Yes, indeed, that's my big sister right there. That's the voice of precision. She cuts through soft language. I guess they want to call it branding and political perfume that smell like skunks. She knows when somebody is dressing neglect up as support. Sis, tonight I need that sharpness because this HBCU conversation that you brought to us has too many people clapping for optics while the structure is still bleeding.
Just hold on to your seat, baby. I got you.
Look, I got my hands like this here on the rails, I promise.
Yes,
Oh
hold on
my
to the seat.
goodness. Welcome to episode 60, Queen. Next, my big brother, Perry Busby. Say good evening to the people.
Good evening. Good evening.
Yeah, yes, indeed. That's Barry White, little brother, right there. This evening, he's the writer, the analyst, the data analyst, receipt puller, pattern reader. Perry follows the money, the timeline, the policy, the politics, even the public statement, and the missing footnote. Huh? Tonight, big bro, we need those receipts because HBCUs do not need pity. I just want them to know they need the ledger open. And like Barack Obama did, give us them records, please, sir. Oh man. Thanks to big bro. Welcome to episode 60. Little brother, Dustin, say good evening to the people.
What up, people?
Yes, indeed. You see that SU behind that man? You see that? You see that? Veteran, straight shooter, ground level truth teller, huh? Dustin brings it down to what this means for students, families, communities, and people who know HBCUs are not just campuses, they are lifelines. La brother, tonight we need that plain truth, man. Welcome to episode 60. And if you are our guest or would like to be our guest, reach out to our platform host. Yes, indeed, that's that. That's what that is. Reach out to our platform host so that you too can be at the round table. Now, don't get it twisted. We ain't gonna have you on all the time, so don't get comfortable. Just letting you know. You're just a guest. Oh man. But again, welcome to episode 60. We're excited about it. Family, y'all already know the rhythm of this table. We celebrate what needs to be celebrated. We expose what needs to be exposed. And tonight we reclaim what has been intentionally downplayed. Let's get into it. Round one. They stole the ground, then policed the gate. Wiped prestige, stolen land, and black exclusion. Dr. Campbell, let's
Listening.
start with let's start with you because America loves the history campus story, don't they?
Mm, they love the
Especially
glam.
right, especially old buildings, old name, old money, old traditions, ivy walls, land grant plot pride, flagship institutions, prestige, right? Man, Dr. Campbell, this is your shot. When when this country says historic campus, what theft, lockout, and protected advantages are they praying we do not say out loud? That I hope you say out loud today.
They don't want us to call them out. They don't want us to say out loud, you stole our land grants. You locked us out of fair funding and you gave white schools a protected head start. Really? Yeah. That's what they don't want us
Man,
to say out loud.
that's one of the things they don't want you to say out loud. That's
That's three
definitely
of the
one of the
things. That's
things.
three of the things.
We could put all that in one basket because they stole it all. No, let
They
me stop.
stole it all.
But that's exactly it because history can become a hiding place if we let it. History for who, right? Like you said, historic at whose expense?
Yeah.
Historic on whose land? Our land? You want to be history on my land?
Mm,
Historic on whose exclusion? You excluded me and think you exclude the indigenous people and think that you got history.
mm, mm,
This country loves to call white institutional advantage tradition. It loves to call black institutional survival inspiration. That's the trick. One gets inheritance, the other gets applause. One gets land, the other gets a commemorative month, or just random speaking. You heard of this?
mm,
One
mm,
gets endowment, the other gets a fundraising campaign. One gets
mm,
generations of protection and legitimacy. The other gets told, oh, to be grateful for surviving.
uh,
And I'm tired of that, y'all. I'm sick of it. Again, like I said, as an attendee of an HBCU, of HBCUs, Grambling State University, North Carolina A&T, of course, if you go to any one of them, you're gonna end up touching Southern, FAMU, Prairie View, TSU, Houston Tillotson. Shall I continue?
mm,
But then, like I said, when white institutions talk about history, they often want the glory without the ground. They want the alumni list without the dispositions, and that's played out. There is evidence that black people have had and will continue to have areas where they built intellect long before the colonizers touched base here. Perry, you ready for your shot? I didn't mean to say that, Dr. Campbell.
yeah.
I know. Perry, you ready for your shot?
Yeah, I'm ready.
What are the strongest receipts that HBCUs had to build excellence because the broader higher ed system was never built to educate Black people on equal terms?
Mm, mm, mm.
Wow. Um, well, if we're gonna pull receipts, and I know we here to talk about the receipts, and like last week, I believe the best way to call receipts is to start the receipt pulling at the beginning. And so when it comes to HBCUs or education within the United States overall, we can't talk about education and separate it or put it in a box that's where we talk about systemic racism.
Right.
You know, it is all parcel and part of the same. I mean, while everybody got excited about DEI, understand that diversity, equity, and education and inclusion started in looking at education.
Right.
And then equity that it brought about. So if we're gonna pull a receipt, I mean, the first one we have to, the first receipt that we have to acknowledge is that our educational system was designed that way. What we're facing is not a defect; it is an ingrained feature of the product. And so, you know, when we began to look at our institutions, be it PWIs or HBCUs, we quickly understand that the land to build those esteemed institutions came about under the Morrill Act. And the Morrill Act was in 1862.
Yes, sir, Perry.
Which began to allocate land for higher education. But when we look at the Morrill Act, we find out that whether we want to call it Harvard or Cornell or even whatever your Ivy purpose of, you know, your Ivy League school of choice, they benefited first and primarily from land that was pulled from indigenous people.
Come here, somebody.
Come on.
And then on top of that, they felt as though education was not something that was viable for the enslaved Negroes. Albeit never understanding that the enslaved Negroes had already come from a culture that had already built pyramids, had already discovered, had already designed irrigation, had already understood for, you know, livestock care. So it understood how to create a civilization. And then it took the Morrill Act, I think, was it another 2 years or so for them to finally come back and say, well, okay, well, let's allocate land for enslaved Negroes. But you can't look at that as though that was some sort of, they came to some enlightenment. No, I mean, that is what led to Plessy versus Ferguson, where we got separate but not equal. And so again, you know, the problem, you know, that that we must fix, we as African Americans must fix, is to connect these dots, because for many of us, history is some dates, some names, and maybe an event, but we don't see the long thread. All we do is feel the racism. So if we understood how the racism presented itself, we would see that it hasn't changed much today. And so therein lies this whole thing about education. And the miseducation of not just the Negro, as Carter G. Woodson said,
the Caucasians too.
But the lack of education, period, for the Caucasian.
Hold up. Huddle up.
I mean, because I mean, let's just be honest. White people can live their entire lives and feel comfortable without knowing anything about African American history.
Of course.
Most of them
And
do.
we have
That's
to learn.
conditioning.
We have to learn from the cradle, if not to understand it, at least understand it enough to navigate it effectively.
Right. Right. That's why I need receipts in this room, because this country loves to act like HBCUs are sentimental. Right?
Yeah.
No, he just told y'all that. They are structural. HBCUs did not emerge because America had a change of heart. They emerged because exclusion produced necessity. And then on top of that, America had the nerve, the gall to judge those institutions for not having the same resources as the institutions built through our land, our
Mm,
law,
mm.
our wealth, our endowment, our donors, these our state support, and generations of protected access. Again, just because you removed me from it does not mean that that's not mine. That's still mine. You took my land, you took our labor, you took our law, you took our treaties and turned that completely on its face. And that's the insult. HBCUs had to build with less, then compete against schools, and I mean even surpassed some of those schools. Peep out the great debaters. And I ain't talking about just one school. I'm talking about every Negro school that had a debate club, especially if they went into competition with a PWI or a community college, because most community colleges belong to W's as well. Again, HBCUs
Chris.
had to build with less. Yes.
Yeah, and if I again, since we are calling receipts, it's not good to have a receipt and not have a total, right?
Hold on, let me
Every
see.
receipt should at least have a total, right? You
I
know,
got
and
something to
so
add too,
the
Ted.
thing that gets me with this is that people will say, I hear all that, but what's the total? How can you repay that? Well, I mean, if we just look at the land grant issue,
By
I
itself.
know.
just focus on that itself. And we can get a total value on that because we know that we will calculate the valuation of land. And so based on the moral act, again, in 1890, if we do the valuation on that land grant, then HBCUs it says it's worth is overdue $12.6 billion.
And that's almost per campus.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Miss Cat. Dr. Campbell.
I was just gonna say, and that probably does not include the segregation scholarships that they pay some
No.
students to leave the state and go and
Right.
keep them from going to their HBCUs. They sent them other places to go. That was their little
Right.
workaround to,
Mm-hmm.
keep the people from
Yeah.
the HBCUs.
Right. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I know I can't give you my per diem, but we can calculate this land. And this
Yeah.
land right now is you have underfunded $16.2 billion worth of equity that are due to black HBCUs. You can't get away from that. Okay. I know you're not gonna stamp my parking ticket for me
Right.
to come in here,
Validate.
but you still owe me the 16.2 billion on the
Yeah,
land,
that
and we
don't
can agree on that.
right. That don't remove the fact that you still owe me. Man, Dustin, you ready for your shot?
Yeah.
At what point do we stop acting like HBCUs are lucky survivors and start saying plainly that they were forced to become excellent because America built exclusion first?
First off, I would like to say, who said it was lucky? Don't let them colonize your history. Do not let them colonize your history. Know your history and know why the schools existed in the first place, and be proud of the journey of overcoming the odds that was placed in front of them.
Yes.
And stop going out there looking to be accepted so bad. Be proud of who he is.
That's it. That's plain. That's the plain truth right there. HBCUs are not lucky survivors. I just want y'all that believes and even threw that out into the universe or oh y'all got lucky because of no. I'm gonna say it again, like I said in the beginning. Y'all came here as colonizers, uneducated, unfit to even survive on Turtle Island. Oh, my bad. Did I say that out loud?
Mm.
Correct. So, who gonna pull me up?
If these white institutions are so proud of their history, why does the room get nervous every time we tell the full truth about the land, the gatekeeping, and who was never meant to belong?
Correct. You're absolutely correct. And let me say this because the full truth interrupts the myth of innocence, of innocent excellence. If that makes us, if that makes sense. This is why, y'all. If you tell the prestige story without the land story, white institutions get to look noble, right? If you tell the academic story without the exclusion story, they get to look superior. Even if you tell the endowment story without the theft story, they get to look responsible, like fiscally responsible. I mean, even if you tell the marriage story without the gatekeeping story, like Perry mentioned, they get to look like they earned everything clean. Like, oh, this is mine outright, right?
At some point, that becomes a confession, right? I'm saying. Mm.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Let me pull my little blinder so I can act like I don't know who you is while you confessing to me, my child.
Yeah.
Man, but once you tell the whole truth, the room changes, Dr. Campbell. Now we have to ask who got land, who got federal backing, who got state protection, who got donors, who got alumni wealth, who got legal access, who got generations of uninterrupted legitimacy, and who had to fight, I mean, literally fight just to be recognized as teachable. I ain't say educated, I said teachable. This is why the room gets nervous, Dr. Campbell, because the full truth does not just honor HBCUs, it indicts the system that made HBCUs necessary, as well as a country that loves Black excellence as decorations, but does not always want Black excellence as evidence. Make that make sense.
It's
I'm
hard
going to
to be
say it again.
prideful and guilty at the same time.
You got, I mean, shit, you got all our inventions in your house. You step outside, all of our inventions are outside. And that this country that loves Black excellence as decoration, but that that is what HBCUs are. Black excellence as evidence. I just want you to know. Evidence that Black intellect survived exclusion. Evidence that Black people built under pressure. And even before pressure, I'm going to tell y'all again, teach them your ways, because we did. Evidence that America's prestige story is complete, but only if they don't include us. Without the people, it's locked outside the gate. Without us, you still locked outside the gate, America. I just want you to know. And I'm going to push it even further because Black people did not just survive exclusion, we innovated through exclusion. We created through exclusion. We built systems through exclusion. We made music move the world. I mean, the entire world. when they tried to exclude us. We shaped language that markets depend on till this day. We developed survival networks that now they call mutual aid. Oh, you giving the mutual or respite care? Get the We developed everything that this country knows. We built churches that function as schools, banks, shelters, political centers, and organizing hubs, all in one building. You didn't know whether to take your child or go get ready to pick up a cake from a bake sale. We created agricultural practices that this entire globe understands, business models, medical breakthroughs, legal strategies, cultural forms. Let's not even talk about technology because, again, let it be said that most of our inventions were way before their time. So, how is it that America downplays Black innovation? That's not far from your fingertips. Even the even the chat you sending information to me on, or the email you sent that derogatory information on, was created by Black innovation. I mean, that's the gut punch. The world is using the fruit of minds it tried to bury, and HBCUs are one of the clearest reminders that burial did not work. I just want y'all to know. Chat question number 1. This for you, chat. Let's make it plain. What gets buried the most in HBCU conversations? Put a 1 in the chat for land, put a 2 in the chat for the lockout, put a 3 in the chat for the money, put a 4 in the chat for the politics, or put a 5 in the chat for the older Black intellectual story. Anybody want to respond to that at the table?
I'd say number 5.
I can hear number 5. I hear number 5. Going once, going twice. I got 2 number 5s. I got 3 number 5. I say number 5. I say number 5. So it's number 5.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. I already know that
The
that one
fact that Black
is
scholars, writers, and thinkers were doing brilliant work long before diversity was a buzzword, that's the
yes,
story that's
indeed.
going to get erased.
Exactly. Yes, indeed. Exactly. Exactly. Tammy Wingate, I see you with that number 5 up in that chat. Thank you for viewing. Roundtable question number 1. All right, now don't cuss here. Roundtable question number 1. What truth about HBCUs, white institutions, and Black scholarship has this country deliberately kept half told? Dr. Campbell, you have the floor.
The half truth, HBCUs didn't just teach Black students because white schools wouldn't. They created scholarships so rigorous that white institution eventually had to steal from it, cite it,
Hmm.
and still won't fully credit us for it. The
Hmm.
country admits HBCUs are necessary, but won't say it plainly. White institutions stayed excellent because they locked Black talent out. Then cherry picked the results. Pretty much
Correct.
like they're trying to do that STAR test now.
Because they found out that they fell in it too. At an
Mm,
alarming rate,
mm.
might I add. An alarming rate. Very alarming rate.
They decided
Perry,
which students they want to flunk.
Perry, you at the floor.
I would say that HBCUs have been undervalued and underestimated,
Hmm.
while predominantly white institutions have been given leeway uh, and have the privilege of riding a reputation that is built on lofty words, even if it's not practical application.
Mm,
And
mm.
so, You know, and that works both ways. I mean, uh, it's not just, and when we say America, we have to include African Americans because there are some African Americans who don't think that HBCUs are quality. I've talked to plenty kids who said my mama and my daddy don't want me to go to a black school, and their parents went to an HBCU.
Sad.
And so, you know, it makes you wonder, well, are you saying that you didn't get educated, or the fact that you aren't educated, you're now still blaming other people?
Dustin, take the mic from him. Get the mic, bruh.
Now, we're gonna run this. We're gonna run this 400 relay. Dustin, pick this baton, carry it on in.
Dustin, you got the floor.
Well, one of the facts that they ain't gonna, mention, talk about, get it on out there is that basically HBCUs built the foundation for everything that is football, be it college or NFL, because 30 of the best NFL players in that thing they call the Hall of Fame came from HBCUs.
Yes,
But
sir.
the dirty game they like to play was they realized, man, the HBCU got the superior athletes. We need those people. How do we get them? So they played the little game called the Great Migration.
Yeah.
Where they came outdoors, talked all this big bad about being accepted and be an easy way to get to the pros and make money for mama and daddy who was struggling, and then turned around and brainwashed our athletes to think that the HBCUs was lesser.
Right.
But they not gonna mention that, but that's the game they played. It's all in your history because your greatest wide receiver ever came from HBCU. Your greatest running back, Sweetness, HBCU. Shannon Sharp might be one of your best tight ends ever, HBCU. And I can go on for about Deacon Jones. I keep going to sevens because football is my thing.
Yeah.
So throughout history, it is what it is. You came to the HBCU for greatness, and then you're going to turn around and try to brainwash that it's lesser than what you got. Yeah. Well, that's okay.
Man, the truth this country has deliberately kept half told is that Black scholarship is older than American permission. The Black innovation that we have come to know has always been larger than American acknowledgement. Always. That's just one. They teach Black education like our intellect began with white America. Finally allowed us to read under supervision. Mind you, I was reading some of y'all's scripts, or some of their writings upon the approach of this, what they call Turtle Island or United States of America or America, North America. But I remember reading in someone's script, I want to say almost maybe even Christopher Columbus, where they said that they learned English from the indigenous people here. How is it that you bring a language to? Okay, that's just. I'm just saying, y'all. Don't be mad. I'm just saying because it didn't make sense to me how the European or the European was able to even navigate ships without a melanated individual. And we could go back and forward about who or how Christopher Columbus identified. I mean, like if we can identify as male or female with the corresponding genitalia, then we could do whatever it is that we want to do in this particular day and age. And so Like I was saying, our people come from intellectual traditions older than this country, older than its constitution, older than your PWIs, which means predominantly white institutions or universities, older than the land grant system. I just want you to know, I got reason to believe that those institutions that y'all are claiming currently as PWIs, I have reason to believe that those were already inhabited institutions, and you just expelled all of those brown and indigenous people from those institutions that they were learning in, as well as growing their communities. Again, you have to understand that this was a nation within. Well, this was nations with an S within a nation. Again, older than white academia or academic arrogance, because colonial systems interrupted our records, stole our names, broke our lineages, misclassified our people, and rewrote the entire story. That made it seem like Black intellect had to be discovered. That makes sense, man. You came over here with a profiting and a thriving people that was engaged in all kinds of things. Let's include indigo, where you can only find in this country. I did not. It did not start anywhere else. It happened to be suppressed. And HBCUs are proof that suppression failed. They are not proof that Black people finally became capable. That is a lie, a monomer that needs to be thrown into the pits of forgetfulness, never to return upon us again, because we are the proof that Black people or black capability survived interruption. I'm proof. HBCUs, raise your hand. You are proof that we survive intellectual extermination. HBCUs are modern defense lines of ancient intellectual inheritance. I want you to know, and if this country told the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help it God, it would have to stop treating HBCUs like charity cases and start treating them like guardians of brilliance, and that America tried to hide or bury. Because once you admit Black people shape global functions, like I said earlier, with and without formal access to education, then you must admit the problem was never our capacity. The problem was control. Who controlled the land? Who controlled the classroom? Who controlled the publishing? Who controlled the patent office? Who controlled the archives? Like Dustin say, who controlled the Hall of Fames? Who controlled the archives? Who controlled the funding? Who controlled the story? Who controls the narrative? That is what America is and has kept half told all my life, and I'm 46. It's not just hidden or hiding the suffering of our people. It's also hiding our genius. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Round two. Y'all ready for round two?
Yep.
Oh man, the chaser for round two is do not sell us the press release. HBCU funding, political spin, and the shell game underneath the headline. Dr. Campbell,
Mm.
I mean, you better whip it when it comes to this. You hear me? You too, Perry, as a HBCU alumni, because United Negro College Fund, or UNCF, it is one of the major organizations that support student scholarships in historical Black colleges and universities. The United Negro College Fund 2024 Economic Impact Report says that HBCUs graduated or generated $16.5 billion in total economic impact and support more than 136,000 jobs nationwide. So when people talk about HBCUs like they are sentimental institutions, they are missing the math. These schools are economic engines, workforce engines, leadership engines. Dustin already told you, sports and more when it comes to engines. You understand that? We even the lubricant, how about it? We are not just producing graduates. We are producing impact, global impact. And that's why the funding conversation matters, because this is where people get played by headlines, especially in this previous administration or our current administration. The White House can say it supports HBCUs all it wants. The administration can promote an executive order. It can point to funding systems. It can talk about investment. It can bring HBCUs to overseas if it like. It could even give camera time, something to look at. People just give them something to look at. But the fuller ledger matters. And that's the breakdown most of them don't even want us to even engage in. POTUS means President of the United States, or POAS of the United States. So when the POAS brags about HBCUs funding, the question is not simply did money move? The question is, where did it come from? Where did the money come from? What was cut? Because obviously you're not cutting anything outside of your own pocket and or those investors that ran up against you. So, Perry, you ready for your shot?
I am, said Sam.
When when the the POTUS, which means the President of the United States, brags about HBCU funding, what part of that ledger is he hoping most of us never read?
Well, I think the part that he hopes that we never reach is the part where we understand him to be a total con.
Yeah.
And I think we all know that he's a con, but we don't know the con.
Huh.
And so when it came to HBCUs, and he did a photo op with all of these HBCU presidents to appear as though he was doing something with black folk and for black folk. Once the dust settled, you found out that the money wasn't there. He announced, what was it, $500 million to HBCUs, while at the same time, and again, you have to understand, Trump loves 3-card money. That's a New York game where it is nothing but a shell game, and you pick the ball under the shell, and so in every 3-card Monte game, there's always the shield. There's always the person that's there that look like they losing, and all of a sudden here you come in, and now you riding high, and you looking like you about to win. Well, that's what he did with HBCUs with this $500 million. I mean, he gave $500 million and then took $350 million
Right.
in other services that went to universities, and then began to claw back through DEI things that you couldn't support because you couldn't get funding through that. And so the $500 million wasn't there to begin with.
Never.
And black folk argue with themselves about whether or not we should give him a chance based on that, whether or not this racist had found God in his heart. No, all he found was more cheap gold in his heart.
Fool's gold.
Cheap ass gold. Fool's gold.
Yes, sir. Yes, indeed. Man, Dustin, you ready for your shot?
Yeah.
What does it say that schools can get a headline boost while still carrying capital stress, compliance bills, enrollment pressure, and scholarship uncertainty?
As I previously stated on previous shows, the Roman Colosseum wasn't built to simply entertain the people. It was a distractionary tool, and the game plan still continues to today.
Yes, sir.
Hey, look at that shiny object over there. Why pick your pocket?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Mm.
Man,
That's the
I'm glad you man, you mentioned Rome, and man, that reminded me of back in the day they used to have this simulation game called Caesar. And so you was Caesar building Rome. And man, it was just one of those things that during the game, during the simulation, when you thought things was getting better and you was building, it would say the people demand games. And that meant that you had to go build this auditorium or this theater because you needed to give people something
some
to distract
entertainment.
their attention from what else was going on.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey man, I promise. That was like what's that game I played? City Skylines? I promise that's just what it was. Because students don't live inside of a press release, y'all. That's what I'm hearing from Dustin. I mean, like faculty don't teach inside of a headline. We can't do that. I don't know how, as an educator myself, I don't know how to do that. Buildings do not repair themselves because somebody made an announcement
Mm.
of allocated money that's reallocated and then come to find out, oh, you shortened another pocket that we needed to be. Yeah. Dr. Campbell, you ready for your shot?
Ready.
How do you expose a funding story that sounds supportive on television, but still leaves Black institutions bleeding in real life? What you eating? Give me some.
Some garlic bread. Okay. On TV, they wave a check and they call it support. But in real life, that check barely covers the interest on a 50-year-old repair bill. So you expose it by asking two questions out loud. How much of this money is new money versus repackaged old money? What Dustin just talked about, and Perry. And the second question is what's left after compliance, debt, and the basic cost of staying open? If the numbers don't close the gap, the story is a performance.
Mm, absolutely. Absolutely. And you exposed it by asking what the story leaves out, right? Television loves the announcement. It it don't like the balance sheet. Don't show nobody the balance sheet. It loves the ribbon cutting, but don't show nobody the deferred maintenance that I put out. Make
Ask for the math though. Let them ask them for the math. Show you that moment. Show it
yeah,
to you.
yeah.
Don't just relish
Yes,
in the moment. Show me the math.
absolutely. Who was cut? What is temporary? Was
Mm.
it restricted? Who restricted it? Is it
Right.
competitive? Is it performative? Because again, we're talking about higher institutions of education. Man, who turned? Mine? Is my shot? It is my
Yep.
shot. Pull me
Why does
up,
this
Dr. Campbell, please.
why does this country keep wearing HBCUs like campaign jewelry while the schools still have to fight for buildings, accreditation, research capacity, and simple long-term stability? Why?
Yes. Because HBCUs give politicians you know, something they cannot buy anywhere else. They give them let's say moral credibility here as an Anglo.
Mm.
I'm not gonna even say white. I done figured them out now. They done crawled up. They done crawled up and become. Here soon they're gonna become Saxtons, and then y'all gonna be like, what? A what? But
Mm.
no. they thrive on Black cultural legitimacy, although they're not. They, a room full of history. They thrive off of being in rooms of Negro history, especially when the Negro don't know the history himself. A marching band behind them, they love it. They love it. Oh, especially with your symbols and your drum line. Oh yes,
especially
yes.
political time.
Oh yes, indeed. Oh
Put it
yes,
on like
indeed.
jewelry.
Right. They like the student body that looks like the future, but the future that they gonna reject and restrict. Make that make sense?
They're not trying to put roofs on those
No,
buildings. They're not trying to
ma'am.
fix the leaks in those buildings. They're just putting
No,
us on
ma'am.
like jewelry at political time.
Correct. A legacy that makes their policy sounds less hostile than it is.
Mm.
Right. That's why they wear HBCU like campaign jewelry, Dr. Campbell.
Hmm.
They want the glow without the obligation.
Hmm.
They want the backdrop without the burden. And that gotta come. That's in tandem. You have to have that in tandem. Ask anybody that went to an HBCU and then sent their children to an HBCU or inspired their child to attend an HBCU. They want the handshake without the repair. They want the 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 I support HBCUs without funding them like national infrastructure. And that is the insult that I definitely take as a attendee, alumni of, I mean, even here in Beaumont ISD, every one of my educators that were Black were HBCU graduates. Make it make sense. Either they graduated from Prairie View, they graduated from TSU, they graduated from Houston Tillerson, they went to Grambling, they went to North Carolina A&T, they went to Clark, they went to Spelman, they went to uh, 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 Harvard, Yale, after they went to an HBCU though. So make that make sense. If you saw the power and persuasion in the education that they received at an HBCU so much that you had to have it at your PWI, then obviously America loves when HBCUs produce people who can serve the system. It gets
Well,
nervous when HBCUs produce people who question the system.
yeah, and Chris, let us not forget the great migration that happened. I would say in the in the late '80s, definitely in the '90s, of white educators who went to Prairie View for their masters and administrative degrees and their education degrees. That let From Houston on west toward Austin,
Mm,
That's true.
many of your white administrators have gotten their masters from Prairie View. So we're just not
that part.
talking. We're just not talking Black educators. Yes, I agree
Right,
with you. I
right.
mean, at one point in Beaumont, you you couldn't escape a teacher that hadn't gone to Prairie View, TSU, Grambling, Southern, Fisk,
Right,
Meharry,
right, right.
Dr.
And
Price.
here it is.
I
Here it
remember
is. You
Dr.
looking
Price
at
talking to
Lamar.
our class about that.
Right. Here it is. We look at Lamar today, and it's considered to be an HBCU based on brown population. Make that make sense. And at one time, they wasn't even allowing my people in there.
True.
Now, chat question number 2. This is for y'all, chat. This is for y'all. What is the quietest pressure crushing HBCUs right now? Is it 1, infrastructure, 2, accreditation and compliance, 3, enrollment, 4, research competitiveness, 5 political shell games. Drop your number in the chat. What y'all
We
say?
don't have all of the above for that, cause
No, I made that one hard. I made that one hard because I knew it was gonna be all of the above.
Number two.
What'd you say? Number 2? I got a number
Yeah,
2 in the chat.
yeah.
Got a
Number
number
two.
2. I
Because
see 5 showing up.
infrastructure gets headlines, enrollments gets panic, but
Mm-hmm.
accreditation, that's the slow invisible chokehold. One wrong report, one missed standard, and you lose federal aid overnight. No warning, no mercy.
No
It costs
mercy.
millions just to prove that you're worthy of existence. While white schools with half your outcomes get
Mm-hmm.
waved through. And that's the quiet killer.
I promise. I promise. I promise. Let me find out, Dr. Campbell, you took that one as a shot.
No, I didn't. You said weigh in on it. So I put my foot down. I told you to hold on to your chair tonight.
Yeah, man. I didn't know I was gonna be spun around. Oh man. Roundtable question number 2. Is America truly investing in HBCUs or just funding them enough to keep the optics alive while the institutions carry the real cross?
Mm.
Or the real cost. I had that right. The real cross. Dr. Campbell, you have the floor.
Oh, they're funding the optics, not the operation. Enough money to cut the ribbon, take the photo, and say we helped, but not enough to fix the leaking roof, replace the 20-year-old lab equipment, or stop making students fundraise for basic financial aid. Real investment would mean HBCUs don't have to bleed quietly just to keep the lights on. But that's not what's happening.
Clearly not what happening. What's happening? That's clearly not what's happening.
Clearly. Clearly.
Period. You got the
um,
floor.
when you asked that, it reminded me of a story or at least somewhat of a joke that Dick Gregory used to tell, and he talked about how he knew that the FBI and the government was uh, intercepting his phone calls, how they were listening in on his phone calls. And he said one day, because he was struggling, he was working for the movement. His wife called and said, "Baby, they gonna cut the phone off." And he said, "No, they not. No, they not, because they want to listen." And so that reminds me of this. No, they're paying just enough to keep doing intelligence,
Mm, mm.
to keep getting intel, because again, we're the ones who tend to undervalue us more than white folk do.
Mm.
White folk understand that, and they put just enough in to extract just enough intelligence.
Right. Right.
And until we get key on their game, we gonna find this. No, you're right. They're funding it just enough to keep it viable, to see what other great ideas, because they know that in adversity we will persevere and we will come up with creative ideas. There used to be a commercial, I believe it was on Aspire. Aspire is the black cable show, and they
Mm-hmm.
talked about black HBCUs, and I heard one young lady says HBCUs create the culture, and as the culture goes, so goes our country.
Man.
We are the
Fact.
heartbeat.
Correct.
And
And the
so,
bloodline.
yeah. And so in our adversity, yes, we know we're gonna produce more. We know our young kids will find a way through this that their elders can't even perceive at this
Fathom.
moment.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, and that's
But the
sad.
country, but this country is banking on that. It's not investing in it, which has always been the way of Europeans. They would rather fight against advancement
Mm.
than to find some commonality or some way to collaborate. It has always been that from the indigenous people on
Yes.
forward. And I don't
Yes.
see these troglodytes doing anything different.
Ah, you said my favorite word. I love that word. Dustin, you got the floor.
I keep it simple. Hell, nah, they not. And half of them wish they could erase HBCUs from the country. So no.
I totally agree. I totally agree. That is definitely Um, for me, America is funding the optics better than it's funding the future. Just like Perry said. I mean, because if HBCUs, especially mine, now Grambling, several times before a president, several times performing before a president, even performed for the queen herself. um, it's like national infrastructure, we would not still be having the same conversation about capital access, deferred maintenance, research gaps, emergency survival, state underfunding, accreditation stress, and student affordability. The true investment secures the institution. Optics keeps it available for a picture. True investment thinks in generations, right? Optics thinks in cycles or in quarters. True investment builds endowment, laboratories, Dr. Campbell said housing, adequate housing facilities, faculty pipelines for those individuals that they graduate, research capacity, scholarship stability, and governance strength. Optics builds talking points like this money that was shifted, then shifted again, and then shifted again, and still leaving HBCUs fending for themselves. I'm tired of HBCUs being handed talking points when what they need is uh, uh, permanence, 100%. If these schools have carried Black leadership for generations, then they deserve more than ceremonial support. They deserve structural protection, and anything less is derogatory. Like I said in the beginning, bovine excrement. Especially when they find another way of borrowing the band while burying the school, and I mean that. Do not call yourself supporting HBCUs if you only love them when they are marketable. Support them when they need engineers, when they need lawyers, when they need grant writers, when they need alumni that are giving, when they need policy defense, when they need land strategy or research dollars, when they need student recruitment. Support them when they need the public to understand what is at stake. That is real support. And if I can whisper in the ear of many African Americans, Negroes, Black, Indigenous people, I'm not asking the PWIs or this government to fund us anymore. It is incumbent on you, us, we, to fund our own legacies, history, and memory. Say it with me now. HBCUs, historically Black college and universities. Round number three. Round number three. Um, The shot is starve the schools, shrink the people, HBCUs, black continuity, and the war on future power. Dustin, you ready for your shot?
Yep.
What changes when you put HBCUs on the same timeline as closed black institutions, endangered campuses, and voting rights act that keeps getting carved up? Of course, you knew we was gonna touch on that one. It's
Nothing
coming. It's
changes.
coming back though. Yeah.
Nothing, absolutely nothing changes. Just a continuation of being the number one target of white filth. It's not even that we're the number one target. It's the delusion that we're the threat to make them minorities. While you sit there focused on us, you done let one, maybe two other races of people numbers jump above yours, or even get close to you to where you creeping on that minority front.
Hmm.
Here's a tip: more of us are leaving the country than coming to it or being here. So you might need to do your senses again and get your mouth together. It ain't us. Leave us the hell alone.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree, because if you weaken the institutions that produce black leadership and weaken the legal protections that allow black communities to elect leadership, then you are shrinking future power from both ends. It's like you're extracting. Dr. Campbell, you ready for your shot?
Yes, yes.
How dangerous is it when institutions that protect black memory and leadership are under pressure at the exact same time black political protections are being weakened?
It's not just dangerous, it's a two-front war.
Mm,
When you lose black institutions and black political power at the same time, you're not seeing bad luck, you're seeing a blueprint.
mhm.
Kill the memory, silence the hardships, then take away the vote. That's how
Yes,
mhm. That's how you erase a people without ever saying their name out loud.
exactly. Or even their classification, huh?
Mm.
Hmm. I agree.
Watch
I
out there
agree.
now.
I agree. It's dangerous because memory and power are connected.
That's
If
right.
if if they weaken the place where black students learn who they are, who came before them, what they can become, potentials, and what they owe their people, then you weaken more than enrollment. You weaken confidence, continuity, leadership, civic imagination, even. So you're absolutely correct. You cut us off from all sorts of things, not just classrooms, but memory keepers, identity anchors, leadership forges, research engines, civic nurseries, spiritual anchors. These are places where black students can see black authority as normal.
Mhm.
And that's dangerous to a system or any system that prefers black talent without black control. You're
Mm.
absolutely correct. Perry, you ready for your shot? My bad. I jumped on the soapbox. My bad, Perry. You ready for your shot? We can't hear you. Oh, he getting it. He getting it together. Give him time. And you know that's Barry White, little brother. He came on here sounding all deep and stuff. Perry, I'm gonna read your shot so you when you come in, you'll know what it
Okay, I'm
is.
back. I'm back. Had a little glitch here.
Wow, my Wi-Fi,
Oh,
huh?
Now
don't start that.
my monitor went out, and so I couldn't see or hear.
Oh man.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
what is still being overshadowed right now that people need to see clearly about HBCUs, Black student power, and the future of Black institutional survival?
I think we really need to see that the pipeline is diminishing.
Mm,
Um, just through the cost of education,
Mm.
through the viability of where, I mean, we're now getting to uh, a point now where we are now having students or young people with uneducated parents,
Mm.
or
Mm.
those who may have only a little education, and so then education is not promoted at a young age. We already see our school districts are in chaos, and so that pipeline for us is really contracting.
Mm.
And I think that's what we really have to be concerned about as a country, because again, as I said, we know that HBCUs and black students and black intellectualism helps undergird and create the culture,
Mm-hmm.
regardless to whether or not it is accepted in real time, post time, or never at all. And so when we see that contraction happening, and we're getting in and we're seeing it in an abundance of ways, because those of us who still live in these communities, we see our kids in this chaos.
Yes.
And so now with viable ways, and now we hell we still trying to understand what we need to do with AI. As if AI is going to really project our future, and in some ways it's going to have an impact. But where are we? And we've seen our kids become great users and great innovators with AI. But what does that do for our community? And I'm gonna say this rest for last, because we've talked about how much it has done for our community. What we've got to begin to do is instill, as you said, our education was sole source through a HBCU, and now we don't have as much.
Hmm.
And what they're doing, and especially as we see it in Beaumont, is the system extracts our intellectuals away from our community.
Mm-hmm.
And so our
Absolutely.
HBCUs become the hub of what fuels mainstream America, but its value back to us is really the sentiments. Oh, that's little Johnny. Oh, that's little Mary. Oh, we're glad, but they
Come on,
are
little
so
man.
far removed from our community in terms of their intellect and in terms of what they're able to provide.
Yes.
So how do we begin to not just build this intellectualism, but that we end up looking at it just like as we saw in the Harlem Renaissance, where we saw all of this creativity come together and bring back to the community?
Yes. Yes. Go get it and
Because
come back
that's the
with it.
great deception in this.
Go get it and come back with it. Pull me up, somebody.
If HBCUs are still holding Black continuity together under this kind of pressure, what does it say about America that it loves the optics of these schools more than the freedom than these schools could produce if fully secured?
Man, it says America knows exactly what HBCUs are capable of. It says America knows what Black people are capable of. That's what it says. This country is not confused about HBCUs or those that attend it. It knows these schools produce leaders They produce voters. They produce lawyers, teachers, scientists, ministers, doctors, organizers, people who enter into rooms with a different kind of confidence. It produces those types of people. It knows, America knows HBCUs do something to a student's spine. It strengthens it and straightens it out, especially one in the South. And America, and this is why America loves the optics, but hesitates and hates the access around freedom, especially in institutions like HBCUs. It wants the band without the power. It wants the band, not the liberation. It wants the homecoming, not the institutional sovereignty. It wants the alumni story, not the political consequences. It wants the HBCU president at the table, but not necessarily the HBCU system fully capitalized, fully protected, fully researched, fully understood, fully stabilized, and fully unleashed. I'm saying this because a fully secured HBCU network would not just educate students, it would build Black future harder to manage. This is the fear. That's what they're scared of. Not that HBCUs can and or have and maybe even will fail. But the truth of the matter is, if it truly secured, if HBCUs are truly secured, they might produce a kind of Black power America cannot easily contain, and or the one that they have erased. And what I want from every HBCU graduate, attendee, supporter, parent, student, a friend of these institutions to hear me and hear me well. Our schools are not just memory. It's not just a sweatshirt. It's not just a homecoming or a fight song or alma mater song. It's not just a yard or the divine nine that strolls on it. It's a battlefield. And if we love these institutions, we have to protect them like battlefields that still matter, because the real truth of the threat that HBCUs find themselves in is not that they can't produce graduates. It's the real threat is that they produce memory with credentials. They've given us something more than what was taught to us in many of our communities. They produce confidence with evidence. They produce excellence with cultural grounding. They produce people who can enter white systems without worshiping and or changing who they are. Hey, my name is Chris. And that is exactly the kind of Black future America has always struggled to manage and erase. Chat question number 3. Drop this in the chat. This for y'all. Be real with yourselves and be real with us. What must be protected first? Put a 1 in the chat for long-term funding stability. Put a 2 in the chat for scholarship and recruitment pipelines. Put a 3 in the chat for research infrastructure. Put a 4 in the chat for student voting power. Remember Prairie View? Put a 5 in the chat for all of it together. Drop your number. Drop your number. Let me see what y'all talking about. Roundtable question. If HBCUs were funded, protected, and politically respected like the nation truly depends on them, what kind of Black future would become impossible to manage? Dr. Campbell, you have the floor. I see them 4s and 5s.
A future where Black success still needs permission, sadly. Fully funded HBCUs would produce independent Black doctors, engineers, judges, and organizers on a massive scale, without debt, without apology, and without waiting for a white institution to validate them. That kind of future becomes impossible to control. impossible to co-op, and impossible to ignore. For a system
Mm-hmm.
built on managing Black ambition instead of unleashing it, that's the real nightmare.
Right. Freddy Krueger's nightmare.
Mm.
Here, you got the floor.
I agree. It's I mean, it makes me really feel like an elder in that I'm really dreaming forward. Uh, because one, for America to fund it at that level says that we are in a different America.
Mm.
Uh, and one that has stepped outside of this traditional historical path. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and and so as I get to this age where they say it's nothing like an old racist black man, I believe I'm really getting there, because I just haven't seen America find the will or the backbone to step off this path.
Mm.
Even when a more lucrative path is available,
Mm-hmm.
a more bountiful path is available, and then, so we've seen this every time. I mean, from uh, Reconstruction to uh, this latest round of post civil rights, and so uh, I believe not just America. I believe uh, globally, we will begin to find that um not just the peace, but also the equity, also the common goal to progress. And unfortunately, I mean, as I look around, I'm like that old Indian back in the 1970s commercial that was looking over America and began to cry when he saw pollution, because I do see us devolving in some very structural ways. That if we are not careful, I don't care how we say it, how we create it, or how much AI tells us what's possible. If we don't have the will in our heart to
Mm.
achieve it, we won't.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Dustin, you got the floor.
I'm gonna say, if they give us the full funding, we will become the country that they claim and pretend to be. Because for some reason, when I say we, I mean we
We.
grow to greatness, we seem to want to look out for everybody,
Mm.
make sure everything is better. Some people should take notes to that.
Mm. 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 Man, a black future rooted in memory, research, law, land, science, politics, economics, and spirit would become impossible to manage. That is the future HBCUs can help produce if truly secured. Truly secured. A future where black students are not just trained to get jobs, but trained to build institutions. Right? A future where black scholarship is not begging for recognition, but shaping policy. A future where black researchers study our communities with accountability to our communities, right? A future where black legal and law defenders um, defend voting rights because they understand the blood behind the ballot, right? A future where black teachers teach history without apology, a future where um, Black scientists and doctors address health disparities from inside the community's reality, right? A future where Black engineers build infrastructure that serves our communities instead of bypassing them. How about a future where Black alumni don't just wear school colors but build school wealth? A future where HBCUs become not just campuses, but engines of power.
Mm.
This is why these schools have to be protected and in some cases eradicated because they saw the direction of what they were producing. Um, you know, if HBCUs were fully funded, fully researched, fully stabilized, and fully respected, then Black students don't just leave with degrees. How about it? They leave with direction. And a people with direction is much harder to manage, just like Dr.
Right.
Campbell said. That is the truth. You give me direction, I'm going to be affixed to that direction and the end game. And that's why this fight is not just about saving schools and or acknowledging schools, Black schools. It's about protecting the future Black people are still capable of building when nobody is choking the institution that forms them. I just want y'all to know I enjoyed tonight, especially as an HBCU attendee. I ain't graduate because I went to the military. I ain't get it from there, but I got it. I ended up getting it. Even at the PWI, that's predominantly Black, Lamar University. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Dr. Campbell, give us something for the rest of the week. Perry, you can follow Dustin and then you, and I'll close us out. You have the floor, Queen.
Just a little something to put on your mind. America doesn't have an HBCU problem. It has a freedom problem. The schools
What?
are fine. They've been excellent under hostile conditions for over a century. The question is, why are we still asking them to prove their worth while white institutions inherit excellence by default? Share that. Sit with it.
Pocket.
Then ask yourself, what are you willing to do about it?
Absolutely. 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 Perry, you got the
Uh,
floor.
yeah, I've really enjoyed this. And as Dr. Campbell said, um, you know, we know our worth.
Yes, we do.
Um, I'm not so into the fact that we have to prove our worth
Mm.
or show our worth.
Mm-hmm.
But what we must do is try to extract the full value of our work.
Exactly.
As I said earlier, it's so baked into the system, whether we're an athlete, a scientist, uh, the best singer, entertainer. I mean, you can't go through Hollywood without bumping into somebody from Howard.
Correct.
So um, but what we must, I think, instill in our students is to bring that value back home. As they say, begin to build in Jerusalem first. And so
Yes.
what we've always done. I mean, I've seen it even in my career, and I am a proud HBCU graduate. Very proud. I would not. I mean, just to give a look in the 1980s. I mean, most people don't realize that HBCUs were the foundation for building guys through ROTC to get them into commission offices. That came through HBCUs. Prairie View was one of the prime campuses for it in Texas.
Yes.
Because of that, Prairie View got an opportunity through their computer science department to teach a new computer language that they were only using in the government.
Wow.
A computer language called Ada.
Ada.
I was in that first class when they taught it at Prairie View. It was that reason that I got to NASA, because of something that they offered at Prairie View that was so very rarely given, and the government was requiring that any computer system that they built be built with Ada.
Yeah.
And that was my road in through an HBCU.
NASA.
And I am forever grateful. And so I don't talk about that without saying, hey, I got to bring this back to my community.
Exactly.
Because my community needs this. Right. And so we have got to be on the forefront of teaching to reach back to our kids before we send them off.
Exactly. Exactly. Dustin, you got the floor.
Well, this is a background that ain't for me. I went to the military at 17. That is for my alumni wife, who I supported throughout those years. And
come on, SU.
And I must say, I did attend a few SU law school classes. For some reason, they let me talk. It was a great time arguing with a judge.
Hey, man, I loved it.
And on a side note, LSU law students, y'all need to start giving back to Southern, since that's where your law school is at.
Correct. Come on here, somebody.
But,
especially if you ain't going to Xavier, you might as well go ahead and support Southern, because you're clearly not efficient to go to Xavier for law. Let me stop. Go ahead, Dustin, my bad.
But, get y'all through this rest of this week or whatever. For all the mothers out there who had a great Mother's Day, hope it was wonderful for y'all. But I must say, with that same energy, y'all got 40 to 44 days. Father's Day is right there. Don't act like that holiday don't exist. I know y'all like to have all these commercials, all these radio spots, all these jewelry sales, all this for Mother's Day. And then Father's Day come around and got a little real sample special or something. Some socks.
And a tie.
Offered up some sex that man that had all 365.
50% off of Temu.
I need y'all to put that same effort in to Father's Day when it come rolling on by in them 40 days. That's all I'm saying. Same energy.
That's to say, I already had that tail. I don't want it today. My God. Family, episode 60. I promise. Tonight was not a homecoming ad. It was a warning. It was a celebration, but not a shallow one, right? It was a truth-telling session. I definitely appreciate my co-hosts and my crew and the chat. The chat was lit tonight. I'm talking about answering them responses. Yes, indeed. It was a ledger opening, especially in a place where we need a reclaiming of our time, our institutions, our intellect, and our story. This country did not, hear me and hear me well, did not create HBCUs because it loved Black intellect or Black people. Black people built HBCUs because this America tried to deny Black intellect and place a place to stand. I mean, like, completely. And let's be real. America has always wanted, I do want you to know, wanted the benefits of Black genius without the burden of Black freedom.
That's right.
It wanted our labor, but not our literacy. It wanted our music, but not our memory, our athletics, but not our authority, our votes, but not our demands, our culture, but not our control. It wants our schools. Hear me and hear me well. I didn't say wanted, I said want, like right now. It wants our schools, but not our sovereignty. So by the end of tonight, here's what I pray and hope that we've gotten from this show. I hope somebody stopped seeing HBCUs as just historic schools and started seeing them as Black institutional infrastructure. Somebody stopped clapping for funding headlines without asking what the ledger really says, right? Somebody understand. I hope that somebody understands that some Black institutions are already gone and others are under serious pressure. Somebody saw the Association of HBCU Research Institutions not as a prestige move, but as a survival move. Can somebody mute? And I hope somebody finally understands that if you weaken the school and weaken the voter together, you are not just changing policy, you are managing Black future power. Let me leave us with this. If you attend an HBCU supported with more than nostalgia, give, recruit, mentor, advocate, organize, especially organize alumni power. Ask the institutions what's needed and move accordingly. If you don't attend an HBCU, stop treating them like somebody else's responsibility. These schools have produced leadership for the whole people. I didn't say Black people, I said the whole people. Protecting them is a community assignment. I want to say number 3, track the money and the law. When politicians brag about HBCUs, ask what changed structurally. When courts weaken voting protections, especially understand that student voting power and Black leadership pipelines are part of the same fight. And let me add this too. If you are part of organizations like the NAACP or your local alumni chapter, church, civic group, fraternity, sorority, neighborhood association, nonprofit, or professional network, ask what coordinated support for HBCUs look like beyond a one-time donation. Because HBCUs are not just schools, they are memory keepers, leadership forges, research engines, civic nurseries, as I said before, and spiritual anchors. And I want you to know and understand that Black future is all within these institutions. To my co-host, Dr. Campbell, Big Bro Perry, to Dustin, and thank you for reading through, riding through, fighting through, word of the weekend through 60 freaking episodes. I just want y'all to know 60 episodes of coming to you in full fervor. I just want y'all to know. To every viewer and listener, thank you for getting us here. You could be anywhere, especially on a Tuesday night, but you keep choosing to sit with us here at this table, to think with us, to challenge us, and to build with us, and that matters. This has been episode 60. Borrow the band, bury the school. Until next time, protect the school, protect our vote, protect our memories, protect our future, and protect our research. And let's stop letting people borrow Black excellence while building Black institutions for survival. And as always, y'all know what to do. Stay prayed up, stay prayed up, stay prayed up. Thank y'all for watching. God bless. Good night. Somebody call Tony because you know he's asleep. Man, I thank y'all for tonight. I really enjoyed this conversation for real.
This show
Wake
was
up,
fire.
Woodrow.
And tell Miss Emmeline, I hope I delivered the information that she was expecting.
Sure will.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna get Tony to
Absolutely.
send it to me so I can send it to her.
Okay. Okay.
Mhm.
I don't know if you got YouTube, but I can send it to you via YouTube if you like.
Yeah, do that.
Wake up, Woodrow.
I'm telling you, y'all gonna have to call him. Somebody on the live. Go ahead and call Tony and say, Tony, wake up. Your people ready to
They through, Tony. They through.
We through, Tony. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
He took somebody out.
Dustin always drops.
Um, I guess he is sleeping, huh? Let's
Oh,
see.
yeah. Been in. He been in. It's going on 11.
Let's see here.